I'm Leah Goen, Director of Marketing for the Cy-Fair Fire Department. I'm here today with District Chief of Suppression Training Daniel Anderson. Chief, can you tell me a little bit about what we're seeing here?
Certainly. We've all seen the videos on the internet of Christmas tree fires, but we wanted to take some time to take a really good look at the different factors that may impact our residents. For example, in this first scenario, you see two Christmas trees side by side. On the left side, this tree, both of them cut at the same time, was left to dry for 2 weeks with no water. The tree on the right had been watered consistently since it was cut.
And Chief, this could also be from a frayed line of old lights, something like that, right?
Absolutely. So we want to recommend that anytime that you purchase new Christmas lights or get your Christmas lights out of storage, that you inspect them for any frays or breaks and make sure that they're properly wired.
And Chief, another thing I'm noticing, especially with all the smoke, if I had a working smoke alarm in my home, wouldn't that have gone off by now?
As long as you have a working smoke alarm that you check on a regular basis, in both of these scenarios, the residents of that house would have been alerted in ample time to evacuate safely. If you'll notice, the tree on the right, the one that was watered, appears to be putting off so much more smoke, and that's actually a result of the moisture content in the fire. That's one of the things that's helping to limit the fire spread in that particular tree.
Yeah, as you can see, as the smoke's clearing, the well-watered tree is much more intact.
Even at this point, with all the smoke, if a resident had a portable fire extinguisher, it would be easy to extinguish this fire with that. And if there's ever any doubt, we would encourage our residents to call 911 and make sure that they get out safely. It's worth mentioning that you never want to leave your Christmas lights on overnight, or if you're planning to be away from your home for an extended period of time.
Yeah, it's amazing how little the well-watered tree is burning. I'm assuming that might just be some of the decorations. Chief, in preparing for this experiment, I had gone out to our local dollar store to purchase some decor. And after we burned these trees, I was amazed at how little the decor had attributed to the fire. It was as if it had just melted.
That's absolutely correct. A lot of the decorations that you're going to find available for purchase on the shelves of our local retailers are going to be UL listed, and they're going to be fire resistant. They're going to be designed specifically to resist burning for an extended period of time, which is going to definitely reduce the potential of fire spread in the event of a Christmas tree fire. One of the things that we did notice during this experiment was that the time from ignition to the time that the tree was fully involved was less than 35 seconds for the dry tree and about 90 seconds for the tree that was watered. And even then, the tree that was watered had a significantly smaller fire from start to finish.
So then we wanted to show what it was going to be like to burn an artificial tree. This is a tree that was bought on Amazon, wasn't a lot of money, and you're going to be amazed at how this tree burns.
I think one of the best parts to having an artificial tree is just the ease with which you can set them up. This one was pre-lit, which was a huge help, but again, anytime we purchase anything like that, we want to make sure that it is UL listed, and that's generally placed on the label on the back. And all that means is it was independently tested by a lab that certifies it and says this product is going to do exactly what it says it's going to do as safely as possible. With the artificial tree, we noticed that there was a significantly smaller amount of smoke coming from the tree. Even as it's burning, you can tell that there is very little fire involvement. And this would be a perfect example for an opportunity of a time that a homeowner could easily deploy a portable fire extinguisher.
Chief, though we all love the smell and the look of a fresh tree, I think this experiment has shown us that for safety's sake, probably the artificial tree is the best way to go. Wouldn't you agree?
I understand that most people, especially those people who have grown up with the traditional tree in their home, love that seasonal smell of having a Christmas tree. But the benefit to having a safer tree definitely outweighs the loss. One of the things that we did notice with this experiment in particular is the synthetic material that the tree is made out of does tend to melt and drop down onto the floor. And that could pose a unique challenge. So we definitely want to take the opportunity to make sure that we don't have Christmas presents packed tightly under the tree. And if possible, we want to try and find a fire resistant tree skirt underneath to help limit any potential for fire spread. One thing that we didn't anticipate with this experiment was the melting material falling down onto the stand and causing the tree to fall over. So it's important to remember that in this particular scenario, that could contribute to fire spread if that tree were to fall over onto a couch or something that was combustible. So after having seen all of these experiments, are there anything that you really didn't expect to see or things that you saw that really surprised you?
Chief, I think the thing that surprised me the most was when we inspected the trees after the burn and noticed that the decorations didn't burn. I really thought that the decorations were going to take off and the fire would run around the garland or burn that, but they simply melted, but none of the decorations ever caught on fire.
That's right. I think one of the things that we saw contribute to the fire spread the most were the parts of the natural trees that had dried out slightly. And with the artificial tree, it seemed like there was hardly any fire spread at all outside of the initial area that was used to simulate an electrical overload or a shorted Christmas light.